There is a particular kind of helplessness that comes from being lied about, from knowing that somewhere, in conversations you are not part of, in rooms you are not in, a false version of you is being constructed and circulated. A version that does not match who you are. A version designed to make people distrust you, dislike you, or distance themselves from you. You cannot fight what you cannot see. You cannot defend yourself against accusations you do not know are being made. You cannot correct a narrative that is spreading through whisper networks and private messages, and the kind of casual, devastating conversations that happen over coffee or in parking lots or in the spaces between other things. And so you watch. You notice the shift in people's energy toward you, the slight coolness where there was warmth, the invitations that stop coming, the conversations that end a little too quickly, the sense that something is happening that you are not being told about. And you wonder, what are they saying about me? This is the story of a woman named Elena, and the person who decided, for reasons that were ultimately about her own insecurity, to try to destroy Elena's reputation. Elena was well-liked, not in a performative way, genuinely. She was the kind of person who remembered things about people, who showed up when it mattered, who was honest in a way that was kind rather than brutal. She had built a life she was proud of, a career she had worked hard for, a community she had invested in, friendships she had tended carefully over years. And then she crossed paths with a woman named Vivian. Vivian and Elena had met through a mutual social circle. On the surface, they had gotten along well. They had attended the same events, shared some of the same friends, moved in overlapping worlds. Elena had considered Vivian an acquaintance she liked, not a close friend, but someone she was happy to see. What Elena did not know was that Vivian had decided early in their acquaintance that Elena was a threat. Not a threat in any real sense. Elena had not done anything to Vivian. She had not competed with her for anything, had not pursued any of the same opportunities, had not said anything unkind about her. But Vivian was the kind of person who experienced other people's success, warmth, and likability as a personal affront. And Elena, who was all of those things, had registered in Vivian's internal landscape as someone who needed to be diminished. The lies Vivian spread were not dramatic. That is what made them so effective. She did not claim Elena had committed crimes or done anything overtly terrible. She worked in the currency of doubt. She would mention, in passing, that she had heard something concerning about Elena's professional conduct. She would express worry, in a voice full of apparent care, about Elena's reliability. She would share a story, always framed as something she had witnessed or heard from a trusted source, that painted Elena as someone who was not quite what she seemed. None of it was specific enough to be directly refuted. All of it was delivered with the kind of sorrowful, reluctant concern that made Vivian seem like a loyal friend warning people rather than a saboteur destroying someone. Elena began to notice the effects before she understood the cause. A colleague who had been warm became distant. A professional opportunity she had been expecting did not materialize with no explanation. A friend mentioned, carefully, that she had heard some things about Elena and wanted to check in, but would not say where the things had come from or what they were. It was disorienting in a way that is difficult to describe, like being accused of something in a language you do not speak, like trying to defend yourself against a shadow. When Elena finally pieced together that Vivian was the source, her first instinct was to confront her directly. She did not. Not because she was afraid, but because she understood, with a clarity that surprised her, that a direct confrontation would not serve her. Vivian would deny everything. She would perform hurt and confusion. She would add the confrontation to her arsenal. Elena came at me out of nowhere, I don't know what I did to upset her, and use it to further the narrative she was building. Instead, Elena did something that took more discipline than a confrontation would have. She let her life speak for itself. She kept showing up. She kept doing her work with integrity. She kept being the person she had always been, present, reliable, honest, kind. She did not try to counter the narrative by talking about Vivian. She did not try to expose her. She simply continued to be, as consistently and visibly as possible, the person Vivian was claiming she was not. And she paid attention to who stayed. Because here is what Elena discovered. The people who believed Vivian's lies without seeking Elena's perspective were not people she could have counted on anyway. The people who came to Elena directly, who gave her the chance to respond, who applied the same critical thinking to rumors about Elena that they would have wanted applied to rumors about themselves. Those were the people worth keeping. The lies did cost Elena something. Some relationships that might have developed did not. Some opportunities that might have come her way were redirected. There was a period of real professional and social difficulty that she had not earned and did not deserve. But the lies also revealed something invaluable: the character of everyone around her. What happened to Vivian is a story that plays out with remarkable consistency for people who build their social position on the destruction of others. Vivian was not a one-time liar. She was a pattern. And patterns, over time, become visible. The same people who had received Vivian's concerned whispers about Elena eventually became the recipients of concerned whispers about someone else. And then, someone else after that. And slowly, the people in Vivian's circle began to notice that Vivian always seemed to have something troubling to share about someone. That the people she expressed concern about had a way of being people who were doing well, who were liked, who had something Vivian wanted or represented something Vivian resented. The pattern became undeniable. And once people saw the pattern, they began to reinterpret everything Vivian had ever said to them, including what she had said about Elena. Some of those people reached out to Elena. Not all of them, but enough. Enough to confirm what had happened. Enough to restore some of what had been damaged. Enough to close the loop in a way that felt, if not like justice, then like truth. Vivian found herself over time in a strange position. She had spent so much energy managing other people's perceptions of others that she had neglected to manage her own reality. Her relationships were built on being the person who knew things, who warned people, who was at the center of information. And when people stopped trusting her as a source, when they started applying skepticism to her stories rather than accepting them, her social currency collapsed. She was not destroyed. She did not face any formal consequences, but she was diminished in the way that matters most to people like her. She lost her influence. The people who had once leaned in when she spoke now listened with a kind of polite distance. The social position she had built on other people's reputations was no longer available to her. And Elena? Elena had built something that could not be taken by lies. A reputation grounded in consistent action over time. Relationships built on genuine mutual trust. A professional standing that had been tested and had held. A self-knowledge, hard-won and clear-eyed, about who she was and what she was worth. If someone is spreading lies about you right now, there are things worth knowing. The truth is more durable than lies. Lies require constant maintenance. They need to be repeated, reinforced, protected from contradiction. The truth simply needs time. Given enough time, the truth almost always surfaces. Not always publicly, not always dramatically, but in the quiet ways that matter. In the minds of the people who are paying attention. Your character is your most powerful defense. Not your words about yourself, but your consistent actions over time. Every time you show up with integrity, every time you treat people well, every time you do what you said you would do, you are building a body of evidence that no lie can ultimately overcome. And the people who are spreading lies about you are telling you something important about themselves. They are showing you that they feel threatened by you. That they believe the only way to elevate themselves is to lower you. That they do not have the confidence to compete on the merits of who they actually are. That is not a powerful person. That is a frightened one. And frightened people, when they choose cruelty as their strategy, always eventually face the consequences of that choice. The universe is watching. It always is. And it does not forget. How to generate and publish Instagram posts for Ganakankodi. Manus.